That lady had the audacity to sit up there on that podcast and be like, people wonder why I'm here. People wonder why I'm here. And like, I started this podcast. It's Raven and Miranda. And Raven broke that damn fourth wall so quick.
Reverend Simone's wife, Miranda, has gotten people talking again. Let's talk about it. Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So, you guys know Raven Simone, our wife, Miranda. She's out there again. So, at this point now, Miranda now is calling out Raven and calling out you guys for saying why is she in the podcast in the first place. So if you don't know who Reverend Simone is, please Google it. So Reverend and her wife, they have a podcast together called Tea Time with Raven and Miranda, and there's a lot of conversation usually that goes into people saying that why is Reverend's wife there, and a lot of the time she sometimes she talks things out of place and all that. But in this clip, she decided to address the situation and how she feels about people always questioning what she was doing in the podcast and why is she always in the podcast. And what she said, talking about how she was the one that started the podcast and how she is the brain behind the podcast. The look in Raven's face, that's what got people talking. And if, generally, people are talking about Miranda and how they feel about her. Anyway, guys, let's go check out the clip and then people's reaction to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
I am literally no, because I sometimes I look at these things and I'm just like, my gosh, like this show is called Tea Time with Raven and Miranda. The amount of times that people still ask what I'm doing sitting here is mind-boggling to me. It's like, I started this podcast, not Raven, me. Like, that's why I'm here. People that I think just be the person who like puts water in cups. It's like,
That lady had the audacity to sit up there on that podcast and be like, people wonder why I'm here. People wonder why I'm here. And like, I started this podcast. It's Raven and Miranda. And Raven broke that damn fourth wall so quick. It was almost like she had a vision. To sail to the future. And I was weak. Fourth wall break let me know that Raven is starting to see what we see. Raven's name is first for a reason. And you had the nerve to be like, people wonder why I'm here. Yes, because ain't nobody checking for you, Otis. We literally have no idea why you're there. Raven will be sitting there talking to somebody about their shared experience on Disney, and you're chiming in like you was in the room. Girl, what? That's why we wonder why you're there. There's really nothing you can contribute to the conversation of experience that does not involve you, that you do not share. So why are you talking and laughing like you're in on the joke? You don't even know funny. That's why we asked why you're there. When Raven looked at us and we looked at her, we were like, girl, see, we told you. Raven was like, okay, now she's taking it too damn far. Why would you say that? It's all in the name. Raven and Miranda. I just want you to know. You know what? Matter of fact, do an episode without Raven. Do an episode without Raven. Do a couple without Raven and see what your analytics say. See how many people tune in. That should let you know everything you need to know. That was so bold. That was so bold of her.
Simone's wife, Miranda, not understanding that the reason people don't know why she's on the podcast is because we all honestly don't know why she's on the podcast. Whether she started it or not, we don't want to hear from you. It's really clear as day that you are a handler. I don't know, like, it just don't feel authentic. It don't feel genuine, which I don't want to go too much in detail about that. She literally said, I started this podcast, not Raven, me. Raven look at the camera like, bitch, we know why them numbers is what they is. Come on, girl. Like, be honest. The only reason the podcasts get clipped, the only reason anybody is paying attention to them because Raven Simone is in them. She's literally that girl of all of our childhoods. I just feel like she doesn't have a fan base of her own without Raven. A lot of the times people are watching the podcast because of Raven. A lot of the times people are looking at what she's responding to and the things that she's saying and dissecting everything that they talk about because of Raven. If it was just a Miranda podcast, you think I would even acknowledge it? Do you think I would even look at a clip? No. But because Raven Simone is on it, of course I'm going to look at it and of course I'm going to listen to what y'all talking about.
The level of delusion that Raven Simone's wife has honestly needs to be studied because Miranda really thinks she's on the same level as Raven, and she has proved that time and time again. These two have a podcast called Tea Time with Miranda and Raven, where they interview a lot of former child stars, specifically Disney Channel stars. This go around, we got Allison Stoner, and in this interview, they are talking about the comment section and just how negative it can be. This is where Miranda says a lot of people have a 6th grade reading level and comprehension level or something along those lines, and how she has to remember that when she gets comments asking her why she's even on the podcast because she was the one who thought of the idea and not Raven. And honestly, the look that Raven gives is priceless because I know she's thinking in her head, this B can't be serious. There's no podcast without Raven, and the fact that Miranda is having a hard time comprehending that is very ironic given her statement. In exception to this, anytime there is a viral clip, it involves Raven. Raven is the one with the connections to the people that they're interviewing. Raven is the one with a very stacked career in the industry. And I honestly couldn't tell you who Miranda is or what she does. There's been so many times where Miranda has slighted her own wife by saying weird things like she's never watched That's Her Raven. And it's just kind of like she's trying to diminish Raven's light. And I'm not for that. And though I won't speak for her, I really feel like Raven is getting a little tired of it too.
So it seems like Raven's wife, Miranda, is in the media again. I say again because y'all are always talking about her. This time it was because they were doing an interview with Allison Stoner on their podcast. He was just kind of talking about hateful comments. He talked about how people still ask her, what is she doing here on the podcast? Even though Raven wasn't the one who came up with it, she was. So it was actually her idea for the podcast, yet people still ask her, like, why she's there. And the look that Raven gave her, y'all, Raven just looked like, I'm gonna just mind my business. She gave that black people look where it was like, okay, I'm gonna just let you be great. We'll handle this later. Like, why would you say that? But also, I do feel like she's in a tough space too because, think about all these podcasts. Big aspect of why we watch these podcasts is because nostalgia. We love seeing Raven Simone, Kyle Massey, reconnect, have a mini reunion and talk. Love seeing her perspective on time in the industry and her talking to other child stars. And it's not like Miranda. See, I was thinking, it'd be a little bit different, right? Matthew Lawrence and Chili had a podcast. I'm giving y'all some ideas there. Let's say they had a podcast and it was talking about growing up, being famous in the 90s. Obviously, he was out there acting. He was in TLC. It could bring a lot to the conversation as they would interview their fellow peers. And they're both famous for different reasons. And we both just know their faces. We don't know Miranda. Not like they're both child actors or both actors or has a perspective on the industry. It's just Raven will be talking about her time with other actors. And then it's okay, what can Miranda bring to this aspect for topics she may not know? Now, I didn't even know who Miranda was. No hate until she married Raven. I think people just kind of find themselves annoyed with her because maybe she seems out of place in the conversations and spaces that they're in. Instead of just letting Raven talk, as rightfully so, she's trying to talk because she's also on the podcast. Then it just almost seems inauthentic because, it's like when you're kicking back with your friend from high school. Their friend chimes in, but you're you weren't even there. You didn't even go to high school with us. Everybody's just talking about, Raven's face because they was she could not hide her facial expressions. And it was she was tight when Miranda brought that up because what? There would be no podcast without Raven. So even if it was her idea, even though non-celebrities do have podcasts every day, the guests they have, the themes they've talked about, the topics, none of that would be there without Raven. So I think that is why. But let me know y'all thoughts.
We need to talk about Raven's wife. Again. And I'm going to keep it cute because I actually do love and respect Raven. And she has said multiple times if she ain't going nowhere, that's where she want to be at. Cool. But it's really getting to that point. It was already at that point, but it's getting to that point. And I don't know if I'm just overly critical or just hyper aware of her every time she's on the screen, she says something. But I'm just why is she saying some of the things that she's saying? And I do think once you're in a relationship and you're with a big star and you're a relatively normal person, that happens quite a bit. You do have to know that you're with a star. People play on Raven Simone, but I will never play on that girl because she was literally everything to me growing up. Literally, her comedic style, everything. We know who Raven Simone is. Please. And I love this out and about style that she has about her now. I think she took a while off from the public eye, and I feel now she's truly enmeshed in herself. I love it. But when you're with a star, you have to know that you're going to be around someone that's going to get praise and accolades. And the last few clips that I'm seeing, it's just kind of her awkwardly looking. It's just uncomfortable thing. And I don't know if she's just tired of hearing it. And I can understand that point of view. But it's Raven Simone, Disney royalty. And I think she deserves her flowers while she's here. And she's getting it from other people that were around her. Allison Stoner, people that were actually there. I forgot the guy that plays Corey, but you know what I'm saying? She's actively getting that. And you do, even if you don't like it, you do have to put on this face where you're I'm so happy for you, even if you don't feel like that. It's almost she's constantly trying to insert herself into these conversations. And
I don't know, I'm just maybe reading into it a little bit too much, and I tend to do that, but it's really no disrespect or hate to her. That's who Raven wants to be with. So we're just going to keep seeing more of her, which is fine. But there's just something that I feel about, like, I don't know, it just seems like awkward. It just seems like uncomfortable. And it's just like, I don't know. I just want to keep giving Raven her flowers. She just absolutely deserves it. She's a comedic genius. Even the way she looks, even when her wife says certain stuff, she'll look into the camera and it's just like, we know exactly what she's thinking. It's like she's seeing into the future. So just something is off. Something is off. I wish them the best though, but I really wish Raven the best. I really just know that Raven's doing everything to include her, but like, she is the star. And like, once you're in a relationship like that, you just have to be comfortable with her being the main topic, and there are going to be things that you may not understand or may not be included in. That's it. That's my TED Talk.
So we're all in agreement that we don't like Raven-Symoné's wife, right? Let's talk about it. So a few days ago, Raven-Symoné and her wife Miranda appeared as guests on another podcast. And Miranda stated that she kind of gets a little annoyed when people are always questioning why she is present on the podcast that they have together, because she was the person who initially started the podcast and invited Raven on as an addition to the show. So she gets annoyed when people ask her that question. And a lot of people had backlash from Miranda, not just because of those comments, because what do you mean you don't understand why people question why you're always present? They know Raven-Symoné, they don't know you, okay? We don't know you, Otis, okay? And so a lot of people, once again, are giving Miranda the side eye because, to be honest with you, Miranda is kind of problematic. Every time I see those two together, Miranda is always kind of being very shady, in my opinion, on how she discusses her wife, all right? Whether it be comments that she made about, well, when I initially met her, I had no idea who Raven-Symoné is. Be so for real, okay? Now, Raven and I'm a little older than Raven-Symoné, but I first was introduced to Raven-Symoné in the 90s when she played Olivia on The Cosby Show, okay? From there, she was on That's So Raven. Like I said, I'm older than her, so I didn't really watch that show like that, but I was definitely aware of it, okay, on Disney. Cheetah Girls, and then she also appeared on The View as a co-host for a while. So Raven has a long established history in the industry, and people, regardless of your demographic, know Raven-Symoné. Miranda, newsflash, they don't know you. And my thing is, instead of counting it as a blessing that you have a spouse that is so well known, so accomplished, the vibes that I often get from Miranda, and I'm sorry to say it, is jealousy vibes, okay? Spouses can be in competition with each other, okay? Mm-hmm. And I get the feeling that Miranda takes great joy and pleasure in humbling Raven. I even saw a clip where she was talking, her and Raven were on an interview, and the subject of money came up. And, you know, the interviewer, because the interviewer knows Raven, okay, you wouldn't even be on these shows to be interviewed for, let's be for real, if your wife was not Raven-Symoné, was talking about, you know, how Raven has done very well in the business space, okay? And instead of allowing her to have her moment, Miranda kind of very in a snarky way was like, well, technically I come from money and I basically have more money than Raven. Who does that? Like, what was the reason? Why did you need to say that? Once again, why did you need to humble Raven in that way? I mean, it was just so unnecessary. And I've also seen other clips of the two. To me, they just don't seem very compatible to me, to be honest with you. I've seen clips of the two in other interviews, and one of them stuck out to me where they were talking about having separate bedrooms. A lot of couples have separate bedrooms, but I just did not like the manner in which Miranda was talking about Raven. And in that, and you can go look it up for yourself, but in that particular clip, she almost seemed disgusted by Raven in a way. The reason why they decided to have separate bedrooms. So like I said before, I just am not feeling Miranda at all. I feel that she does her hardest to upstage Raven, to humble Raven in some way. And mind you, I am not even a big Raven Simone fan, not based off of her work, her show business work, but once she appeared on The View and I could see more of her personality, I'm good on her. But it just still is very awkward to watch the two of them engage with each other as a couple. So I'm just not feeling it. And I just don't like the way I feel like her wife humbles her or tries to make her look small in front of other people. So get down in the comments and let me know if I'm off base with that. What's your viewpoint on Raven and I was going to call her Samantha. That tells you how much I know about her. Miranda, what's your view on that interaction? Do you get weird vibes from it? Let me know. And if you're not already following the Black Death Society, what are you waiting for? We're on the road to 5K around here, so please make sure to follow.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you guys think about this entire conversation down in the comment section. Okay, but please, as always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. Everybody has said everything I would want to say about Raven Simone's wife and all that. Nobody really knows this woman, and the fact that a lot of the time it comes off like she doesn't like Raven. It comes off like she's trying to downplay Raven's sources. It comes off like low key she's in competition with Raven. Her talking about how she didn't know who Raven he was. Her talking about the period thingy. Yeah, putting period in the food, in the pasta, and all that. Like, guys, like when it comes to this too, like people will choose whoever they want. As much as we don't like it, as much as we can see all the red flags, as much as we can point things out, the truth is that if Raven wants to be there, there's really so much we can do. Like we'll all talk and complain and all that, but her pointing this out, saying that, oh, but I was the one that started the podcast. First off, I get the fact that sometimes some comments can get into your skin, but when you know who you are and you're solid on who you are and who you're with, sometimes those validations really don't mean anything. She talking about how people always say, oh, what is she doing there? That means she has some type of resentment that people are not recognizing her in terms of her being there. People are more like, oh, why is she being there? She's out of place. Because you are out of place, girl. You are actually out of place. But the fact that she sees that as a thing that she feels like she has to come and address, and the way she wants to address it is to downplay Raven, rather than to say, for instance, saying that, oh, why won't I be here? The podcast is called Raven and Miranda. That's why I'm here. But she went on to say the podcast is called Tea Time with Raven and Miranda. And the fact is that I was the one that even started the show. And you could clearly see from Raven's face, like, okay, that was unnecessary, because that was really unnecessary. But that's when, like, sometimes we talk about men, how sometimes we women, we get with men that don't like us. Sometimes in the gay community, sometimes some people get wrong with people that don't like them. Even in terms of friendship and relationship, sometimes some of us get with people that don't really like us, because it's given, I can be as big as you. But the truth is that, girl, you can't be as big as Raven. Raven is Raven. Even me that didn't grow up in the US, I grew up with watching at work and all that. We know how we love her here too. So, girl, take a sit back. And for me, when you see the person you're with is in this type of defensive competition mood for me, it's a red flag. Be careful. If possible, remove yourself from that situation. That maybe the podcast or something. But yeah, the podcast will not be what it is without Raven, and she knows it. Miranda knows it. And yeah, I just feel like she shouldn't have speak on that. If people are asking why she was there, it's because she doesn't flow with the conversation, because the conversation is about celebrities and their life there, and she's not. So I don't know why she's bothered why people see her, ask why she's there, because, girl, you're not flowing. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this story down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this career. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.